Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 38 of the Last Cycle Heart podcast. DJ, spin it.
Cycle Heart podcast. You are listening to the Last Cycle Heart. You are listening to the Last Cycle Heart podcast.
Oh, I don't know if you heard the sound of that crack or not, but whew, what a beautiful Red Bull. For the people that are not viewing this is the blue edition, blueberry Red Bull. I mean, but how's your week going? How's your day? You know, the usual. I always wonder what it is. Okay? Say it in your head. You know, you don't, or just screaming at your radio, your telephone, whatever you know. Everybody say it with me. My day is good. And if you said if it's bad, then we got some praying to do. But either way, blueberry, the blue edition Red Bull. I've never had it before. So cracking that open and be able to start off the podcast with a mystery drink that I've never had before, a mystery flavor of Red Bull. Because, of course, I've had the original. I've had the peach. The peach, peach Red Bull, of course, it didn't sound appetizing to me at the very beginning. When I opened it and I tasted it, it was okay. It wasn't amazing. It wasn't that great. I've had the watermelon. The watermelon, honestly, is, besides the original, I mean, you can't go wrong with the original. Oh, you can't. You can say whatever you want, but the original Red Bull is the way to go in worst case scenario situations. But my favorite personally is the coconut one. Bomb. Second one, watermelon. Watermelon is definitely up there. It's a top tier Red Bull for sure. So top three, regular, then coconut. Well, actually coconut, then the regular, then watermelon. But the regular is always a good fallback one. But let's try this sucker. Let's see what it. All right, I'm gonna have to go in for a second sip, just because. I don't know if it's just me, but I think all the ones that are flavored all have that like distinct aftertaste. Well, I think that all Red Bulls have. But specifically with the flavored ones, they all have that same like fruity, like the watermelon, the peach, and this one all have that same like aftertaste. But the very beginning, I got, it just, to me, it just tastes like the original Red Bull with like a little bit of a sweetness kick to it. There's nothing really special. I mean, I'm not disappointed with it though, so I'm glad it's not disgusting, because I would hate to throw one of these out. I mean, I only bought a pack of 4, so it's not that big of a deal. I just wanted to try something new. That's me. I'm that type of person. I'm not picky when it comes to a lot of stuff. I always try something at least once. At least once. I'm trying to think of the weirdest thing that I've tried. One time I had octopus. I've had that. It was weird. It was very chewy. And then on top of that chewiness, when you were swallowing it, one of the little sticky things started sticking to my throat on the way down. I was like, oh, it was not a great feeling. So that part wasn't great. The taste was very, it was bland. If they didn't have that little dipping sauce there for me to, have a tentacle with, then I probably would have never even, got it. Same thing with alligator. Alligator, very bland tasting unless seasoned heavily and deep fried, baby. Oh, deep fried. Deep fried anything is good. Deep fried anything. For sure. But man, it's been about 2 weeks since I've done my last podcast, and I went away for a minute because I had to, I had some big things come up. Okay, I got baptized. That was a very big one. A very big one. Actually, before we get into that, what is this episode dedicated to? The outfit. Can you take a good guess? Can we all guess here what this outfit is? I mean, this is the same merch. It's like church merch, but it's the same thing from last week. But like, why am I dressed like this? Well, it's because, I mean, I had nothing else. This is just work attire. This is literally work attire for me. I mean, under this, I have a cutoff shirt. Because I sold my vehicle. But I think I'm getting way too ahead of myself. Before I get into any of that, this is just a season of cozy comforts. There you go. Or have I already done cozy comforts? I think I've already done. No, never mind. Scratch that. This episode right here is dedicated to summer of work. I don't know. Actually, you know what? It's going to be the episode of Bummer Summer. So we're going to slide this in. We're going to all reframe back. And we're all going to bring it back together. I don't know where I was going with. Okay. This episode 38, is dedicated to Bummer Summer. There you go. Because I'm just working all summer. That's literally what it is. And I bet you college students out there that just got out of there and are going right into the summer, what if you just went and picked up a job because you're going to be working all summer, saving up money so you can live off of it for the semester when you go to college? I mean, that's just how life is. But my summer, honestly, it's not going to change a lot. There's not a lot of greatness to it that is, like in high school, I would get excited for the summer because I'm out of school or I'm not doing something. People in college, they're excited for the summer because they're going to be getting out. They don't have to do school anymore. They're going to be going in, they have freedom. Me, on the other hand, I'm just going to be doing the same stuff that I've always been doing. So, episode 38, Bummer Summer. And what am I wearing? Just some bum clothes. I had to work today. I just came back and just threw this on because I'm exhausted. And I just did not feel like... You just have those days where you just feel like that you don't want to put any effort into your outfit, and this is what it was. This is literally the first. Literally, I did a I See outfit, an I Spy outfit. I guess it'd be an I Spy, no, or just an I See. Whatever you call it. Would you call it an I See outfit? I think that's what I call it because you know the little seafood. When people say that you're on a seafood diet, you see food, you eat it. Well, I saw these little pieces of clothing just. All right, that one's on my bed. That one is hanging off my, where I fold my clothes. And that one's on the couch. So then, therefore, I just put them all together and I pieced them all together. And boom, this is my outfit. So, I guess it could be / Bummer Summer / pieced together outfits. I don't know. But I got baptized. So... That's why I'm kind of bringing the church merch into this because, you know, it was a major thing that's happened to me in these recent weeks. It felt amazing. Like the church that I go to is pretty awesome. I mean, they have a jacuzzi button in there, so it was very peaceful. They threw a bath bomb. No, I'm just kidding. They didn't go to that extent, but I was like, what if though? What if there's like, you know, like the mega churches? What if they like when they went in there, they're like, hey, press this button. Also, you press like a hot tub. There's lights underneath, and they just do like the most beautiful, just baptism, just the most overdone. Like there's fireworks at the end of it. Everybody has confetti poppers under their seats and they're just popping them off after you get baptized. I don't know. I just was thinking maybe that's what the mega churches go towards. But look, I don't know what their funding is. But also, church related, I became a partner of my church. And when I first heard of this, because I went to this like little meeting thing, because like when you want to become like a member or whatever, when you want to become a member of the church, there's a certain little meeting that you have to go do. And I went in there and I sat down and there was a question on the back that said, do you want to become a partner of the church that I go to? I was like, a partner. First thing that was in my mind was like, okay, big money moves. I'm going to have to be, all right, cool. So since now that I'm going to be a partner of this church, I'm gonna need to make some things go on here. So am I gonna be paying? Am I getting like a deduction off my tithing, or do I get a percentage of it? Do I put a certain amount of money down to go towards the church, and then like I don't have to give 10%? I can just give like 3% or so, or do I make some profit off of it? Like I'm trying to think of these big things because I'm becoming a partner of this church. Well, it turns out partner means nothing of what I had in my head. Because they sat me down and they're like, hey, so partner is just a fancy term that we have here for member, because apparently member was confusing to people. Like if you become a member of a church, some people take it literally and they're like, oh, now I'm dedicated for life to this church. I thought partner was, I mean, let's look up the definition of partner. Partner, like partnering in a company, like, let's see here. partner in company. I mean, when partner comes up to mind, it either basically like when it comes to my mind, either partner, I either think of like a spouse, a girlfriend, or I think of like I'm like signing a contract and I'm gonna be, putting big money down. I was like, huh. Like I thought for a second, I was like, man, I'm about to have to be picking up some extra shifts at my at my pizza place. I'm about to have to do all these things. I mean, like I don't know what's gonna be going on, but I'm partnering, which means seems like I'm gonna be giving up some of my funds, which I don't have much. It's gonna be going a lot on the credit card if you know what I mean. A partnership in which partners were entitled to share profits of equity partners. So basically, like so partner. So when you're in a business and you come with somebody else and you're like, hey, us two want to make this business happen. Then you got two people that are putting money in the pile, and they make split of the profits depending on what their contracts agree to. So I was looking forward to signing a contract that day, but apparently partner is a term they use for member, which I don't know. That just seems odd because I didn't think member was that scary. I mean, that just was funny to me because they said that. They said if you tell them that, hey, would you like to become a member of this church, they think it's a full life dedication. Like it's like Scientology. Like it's not like Scientology where it's like, oh, you're in it. They have a billion-year contract. I think I've mentioned this like on a long time ago podcast, but still, it's good to refresh some of my early listeners' memories. So in Scientology, they have like this billion-dollar contract that you signed, like for the Sea Org. They call it a Sea Org, and it's where you dress up as a bunch of like the Captain Crunch dude. Yeah, that's what you dress up. That you look like the Captain Crunch guy, or a bunch of Navy people, but it's like costumes. And you sign up to be, a part of this organization, but it's called the Sea Org, and it's these list of members. They're like high-ranking officials and officers that are in this, church. And so when they come in, they sign a 1 billion year contract. What? I think it's 1 billion or 100 million. It's either 100 million or 1 billion. Either way, it's a crazy number to even think about. So these people signed this contract, dedicated themselves that once they reincarnate, because they believe in reincarnation. Actually, they believe in immortality, like being immortal and achieving it. But I've not known of anybody that has become immortal off of it yet. I mean, they do believe in reincarnation though, which is something like, the guy that the Book of Dietetics, L. Ron Hubbard, that's the dude that created the Book of Dietetics, and he, that's what they base their religion off of. And like, if you believe in reincarnation, where's this dude at? It's like I feel like that I can just go up there and just knock on their door and be like, what's up? They're like, who are you? I'm like, dude, I'm L. Ron. And then they're like, L. Ron Hubbard? I'm like, yeah. And then like they just ask me where I'm from originally. They asked me like basic Wikipedia. Like I can just look up the answers on Wikipedia real quick. And they just ask me these questions. They're like, oh man, you are really L. Ron. And then they dress me up. I become a big member. I get a big old gold medal like Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise literally got a Medal of Honor in Scientology. He got up on stage. Everybody in Scientology was just clapping as he put this medal around his neck. Basically, it's a participation award because he's given the most money to Scientology. So then, therefore, he's got this big old medal that he's repping, and it has the little logo that they have. And he's just up there like, yeah, I got all this money, and I just donated to this tax shelter. Oh man, I don't know. I really was like in high school. The reason why I know so much about it is because in high school I was addicted to watching Lee Remedies what was it? It was like Lee Remedies unfolding of Scientology or something. I don't know. It was something like that. It was at her TV show, and I just got addicted watching it. I love watching documentaries. Any documentaries in general, but something that's like interesting like that. Like the Waco Siege, I liked watching and learning about that. But Scientology in particular is just like, this TV show was like, it was Lee Remedy. She was in it. She talked about her experiences, about her way out of it, about how, people were stalking her. She got out of it, and she also put other people's experiences in there in Scientology. And I also got to learn every little thing about all the people. Like, I learned that John Travolta's in it, and apparently John Travolta has has the right in this in Scientology to apparently kill people. They can kill somebody, and they'll just be like, sweep it under the rug. They'll be like, hey, I don't know, they called it, I think Lee Remedy called it like Kakan or Kakand or whatever. Like, he has that power. I don't know, it's wild stuff. I'm not going to talk about Scientology anymore. It was just kind of a basis because I was kind of just tying stuff in, and then I kind of just went into my own little world. Look up Lee Remedy's just look up Lee Remedy Scientology, and I promise you her show will pop up there. It's very interesting. You have to watch it. It's 100% great. But back to my baptism, because that's how far we got off. I literally went this way with Scientology. Now let's go back to baptism. Here's my certificate. If you're watching this, I don't know if you could see it. It's kind of far out, but I don't know if you can tell there's anything wrong with it. It looks pretty, certified, but they spelt my last name wrong. There's no N. They put an N in it. I'm Dawson Englehart, apparently. I just decided after that moment right there on my baptism certificate that I'm just going to change my name to Englehart. I am. Because if everybody just can't, if I say Englehart and the first thing that you think of is ING, I'm just like, no, don't add any letters to your name. Like, Englehart, I don't hear any N's in it. And apparently, they don't listen to the podcast, or they would have definitely got my name right. It's literally called the Last Englehart Podcast. Maybe follow me on Instagram or something. I mean, maybe that's what's holding me back from not getting as many listeners or stuff, Maybe they keep on trying to spell my name with an N in it, and they're like, man, I cannot find the Last Englehart Podcast. I can't find it. I can't find them on Instagram. Well, no wonder you can't find me, because there's no N in my name. But don't worry. I'm going to go get my birth certificate changed, and it's going to be Dawson Englehart. The Last Englehart Podcast. I think Englehart sounds worse than Eigel. I'm just saying. Okay? Let's just put it out there. I'm putting it out there. I think it sounds worse. It sounds so much worse, to me at least. But I sold my car. I sold it. I had those good experiences, and then I had something that I had to give up. And it's been a long process, and that's part of the reason why I haven't had time to make this this podcast, and it's been a little bit because I've had to put my energy into other things, because now I don't have a car. I'm biking to work now, and I'm biking there and back, and it takes me like 30 minutes to get there on a bicycle now. It's a whole big thing, a whole big ordeal. My legs better be huge, okay? My legs better look like this, okay? That's what my legs better look like, 100%. If my legs do not look like those legs that have popped up right now, then I don't want anything, then I just wasted this whole summer. Because my goal is to bike this whole summer, save up some cash, and then get a vehicle. There's so many benefits that are not just saving money, but there's so many other benefits to the reasons why that I just don't want to get a car right now. Also, number one, because I just sold my baby. I sold my pride and joy. If you've been listening and been a day one listener, you know that I fought and I have sacrificed, and I got 2 jobs to keep the car that I had. And now I, was really stuck between a rock and a hard place. And I was like, you know what, Dawson? Do you want to be living in the living room until you get this car paid, and then hopefully you can find a living room to live in? Or do you want to actually have a room and then just settle for another car? And I was like, ugh. Because in Austin, I made plenty of money. I made good money when, COVID wasn't, impeding on it. And when COVID wasn't impeding on anything, I was making great money. And I was able to afford my car. And it was great because the minimum wage is different there. Okay, and plus also I was making over minimum wage. The minimum wage there is $15 an hour. I was making over it. Okay, so I was making like 18. It was at one point, because I was working on the golf course, I worked my way up. I was making 18 at one point. Or no, it wasn't 18. It was like not close. It was close to it though. I don't know exactly, but it was somewhere around there. I was making good enough money to be able to keep my car, pay my rent, and my insurance and all that stuff. And I was doing good. But then I moved back here to Arkansas, where the minimum wage hasn't caught up with kids buying stupid purchases at a very young age. So since it hasn't caught up just yet, the fluctuation hasn't started, then I have to give up stuff. But it's nice to have this bike. At first, I was like, oh, man, it's tough. It's tough to go from this to that. It really is. But the thing is, though, is they have one thing they do have in common is they're both 6 speeds. All right, they both got the little thing on it. They got the little 6-speed thing, and I'm like, oh heck yeah. I mean, this bike in a sense is kind of a manual. When you go up an incline of hill, you gotta crank up the gears. But then when you start going downhill, you can lower it or whatever. I mean, it's the same instance, and that's the thing that I loved about my car. It was because it was a manual. It was a 6-speed. I had so much fun in it. It was great, but it's just something I needed to give up. It was something that, I really want to get a room next year, okay? Because not having privacy absolutely sucks. Being able to someone being able to just imagine, literally right now, people don't even know where I even videotape these podcasts at, and when I tell them, they're like, what? My mind is blown. I couldn't even imagine. I'll go ahead and tell y'all where I videotape these things. This is it's an open kitchen. So I'm filming right next to me. To my right is the microwave and the oven, and then to my left is the hallway leading to my 2 roommates' rooms. And then right in front of me is, right over here, we got the door. I might as well explain to you the blueprint of my house or the apartment. So I got my the door that's to the right of me, straight ahead, and then right directly in front of me is my beanbag bed, and that's where I like to sleep, or not like to sleep, but that's where I sleep. So just imagine people coming into your room every day and then propping their feet on your stuff, wrestling on your bed, or just sitting on it, because I got to the point where I started becoming where I actually miss having a room a little bit now. For a little bit, I didn't really care. I was like, I'm doing it, but now I kind of miss having a room. I really do. I really do miss it because it's just privacy. I have a hard time getting to a point of writing jokes sometimes because people are just always bombarding me, which is not that big of a deal because I'm in the living room. I'm in the worst place ever. It's not where I can just lock the door anywhere. I mean, the only door that I can lock is the front door. And if they're going to stay outside, then bet. But it's just hard sometimes when people are just always touching your things. I used to be a little bit more on the OCD side. I would, make sure everything's straight, prim, whatever. But now it's whatever. It's going to be moved. It's going to be shifted with. It's going to be whatever. So I just kind of live with it. And I mean, one of my friends, I don't know why he has this habit. Why? But he takes he does a good thing. He takes his shoes off, comes in the apartment, but then he takes his socks off too. He takes his shoes and his socks off, and he just props his feet on my table that I do all my work on. And no joke, he one time started scratching his foot on the top of this mic. I'm not kidding. Started scratching his foot on top of this mic, and he was barefoot, and it was so disgusting. I was like, okay, I gotta get that. I literally have to pull things away from him because he just, I don't know, just why? I don't. It's disgusting. It was so he was. This is one thing. I talk by this thing. No, hey, don't worry now. I took plenty of wipes, disinfecting wipes, and cleaned this whole thing, and it's good now. It's good. But when I initially saw that, I'm like, and he likes to fidget with stuff too, and he'll just I don't know. He grabbed my mic cord and just started like messing with it or whatever, and I was just like, dude, can you please stop fidgeting with it, please? All right, thank you. Can you put it down? I appreciate it. And that's the only cord I have, and I don't want to have to buy a new one just because you want to fidget with stuff. But yeah, I want to get a room, so I sold the car. Now it's like, how's it biking to work? Well, I'll tell you. I'll explain to you for the past few days of me having to bike to work. I have to leave the house about 40 minutes earlier than I would have to usually going in a car. Because, I mean, you're biking. And it was a little weird at first, but now it's like I embrace it. It's just like whatever. I just go with it. And the good thing about Conway is that everything's all close together, or there's like also plenty of biking lanes. That was the biggest worry of mine is to finding places to bike where cars are not having to constantly like pass me and whatnot and complain. Because I know there's plenty of people out there that are just like, man, like I know there's people that are like, man, these bikers, they're always in my way, blah, blah, blah. I just want to kind of lean over and just like, there's plenty of jokes out there about hitting bikers and yada, yada. Look, trust me. If you see me on my bicycle out there, and 9 times out of 10, kind of cut it a little, cut your corner, kind of cut it a little bit close to me, maybe clip me on the way by or something. Do enough damage to where I could, at least get some insurance from you, or just do the favor and just, because I don't want to bike either. I don't. It's not like it's something that I enjoy doing. I definitely don't enjoy it. But the thing is, though, is I am happy that I am having to do it in order to, I get a workout in. It saves money, saves gas. It's great for those things, but just the aspect of time and also me just, there's sometimes, there's one big hill that I have to go up, and there's no rewarding factor either. You like climb up this hill and then it just turns flat as I'm going into work. It is the worst thing ever. But the worst thing was the other night I was in the middle of biking, and I heard some thunder in the air. It was at nighttime, so I didn't, I couldn't see anything above me, but I could feel it. I was in the middle of biking. I was halfway home. I only needed to go 50% more, and it started pouring on me. It just absolutely pouring, and I didn't have a rain jacket. I didn't have anything. I just had a hoodie and some shorts on. Actually, I had this hoodie on. This just got washed, so I had this hoodie on, and I was biking home, and it started pouring on me really bad. And when you get to those moments, like I don't know if you ever had those moments. I think it's only like in rain, or maybe you can get this if you work. It's like those moments where you like are in your head and you're just like on the verge of just losing it, but then at the same time you're like trying to think of other things to make you feel better about the situation that you're in, so it keeps you moving. That is what my mindset was. It was just like the whole time I was just like, this sucks. I kind of just want to just like, like I don't care if a car comes over and just clips me. I just don't want to be a part of this anymore. It wasn't exactly like that, but you get my point. I was frustrated. But then I was thinking of stuff like, well, I could be dead right now. Like, that's really what, or I could be like, man, I could, it could be hurricane season here. It's better than snow. It's better than snow and cold. You're just like starting to think of like all the great things. Jesus walked 40 days. Hey, 40 days in the desert. That was just crap that I was thinking just to keep me going and keep me pedaling all the way back to the apartment. And when I finally got back and I was just drenched, it was bad. My shoes were like literally puddles. Every time I stepped, made that squishy sound. That's just one thing I don't like: cold feet and wet feet. Like wet feet, it's fine, like when I get out of the shower or whatever. But like if I step in a puddle and my shoe just gets soaked, whole day ruined. It's I don't like it at all. Neither with cold feet. Like in the winter, like when we had that blizzard or whatever here, my feet got cold. I'm done. It ruins it. I'm not wanting to be a part of it anymore. I'm done. Oh, but the good thing that came about me selling my car, you know, I mean, it's fine. You know, it will do. So biking all the time. That's great. But the thing is, it was when it came to, I don't know if my bank messed up or something, but I had something really interesting happen, you know. I don't know if you have a credit card, but you probably have a credit card, and you know, when you spend money on that credit card, you pay it back. Like you should. And it will take out of your checkings account, which will then, if you have an app, it will show you, you know, minus whatever the amount, and you know, it shows you. Well, on a car loan, it's kind of the same thing. I have an app, and I can pay my car loan through this app, and it, I don't know if it glitched up or if it, like, I don't know what's going on, but I got a notification. Like, this guy sent me a few $1,000s to pay towards my loan, because for some reason the loan company that he was trying to, you know, get the rest of the money for, because he was getting a loan to pay off the rest of my car. So I don't know. I wish he could just take over my loan, but that's not how it works. Anyways, he needed just to put in a little bit of the loan, so the loan company's like, okay, that's the right checkings account, yada yada. Well, he hands me like, he hands me $2,700 in cash. So like, yeah, $2,700 in cash. Hands me that, and like, for him, like, he's an adult. He was in the military. For him to trust a 21-year-old kid, in this generation, this time and age, with $2,700 in cash, and with me still having the vehicle and possessing it, and it still being in my name, him trusting me to take this cash to the bank, put it in my checkings, and then pay off put that towards my loan. I mean, that's a lot of trust. But you know, I guess I just have a trustworthy look to me. I just have that all in my face. I mean, it's just what it is. But of course, I went to the bank, put in my checkings, and it was just sitting there. I don't like things just sitting in my checkings account, because I don't have my checkings and savings account, you know, linked up. I have them separated, because just in case, like, I have all my stuff in my savings, and then I'll pull out, put it in my checkings whenever I have bills that come up. But I had to let this thing sit in my checkings account all weekend, all the way until Tuesday, so it could, you know, go through, and then that amount of money would go towards my loan. And I, you know, called up Chase right after I put it in. I said, hey, I have $2,700 that I want to put towards my loan for my car. And they were like, all right, cool. And they were like, and then they did this thing. They were like, do you, Dawson Eigelhart, agree that $2,700 is going to come out of your checkings account and pay for the loan or whatever? I was like, yes, let's do it. So I went ahead and did it. So it posted, they said it would be on Tuesday when they'll take the money out of your account, and you'll see it posted on Chase that they paid they put that money towards your loan. I was like, great. Tuesday came around. I looked. I got an email from Chase saying, thank you for your payment. I went to the Chase app. It said it was all subtracted and everything. Everything looked all good on there. Like, my loan went down, everything. I went to my bank app and pulled up my checkings, and that $2,700 was still there. There wasn't even a subtraction pending thing there. It was just literally just sitting there. I was like, what? Like, like, I want to see if it's still there. Like, I've been checking it like 12 times today. Like, that whole story was to get up to this point where, like, I don't know what's going on, but this has never happened to me. Every time that I would pay off my loan, it would subtract from my bank account immediately, and they would send me a thank you. But they sent me a thank you, and they made zero. Like, they took it off my loan, subtract that money off my loan and everything, and still the $2,700 is sitting in my bank account, and there's not even a pending from the to get it. Let's see here. Oh, no, wrong password. But No, it's still there. It's still in there. I mean, is there anything pending? Nope, there's absolutely zero pending. I thought at least by the end of the day, they would be like, oh, man. Like, and that's so surprising for a loan company to do that. Like, that's like one of the big, like, banks. I mean, come on, it's money. And people, when it comes to money, they make sure their money's in order and money's right. But I mean, I reap the benefits without even having to be on my bank account right now. But I'm so afraid to take that $2,700 and put it straight to my savings. And then all of a sudden, like, down the road later in the week, they, like, have an epiphany and they're like, whoa, like, why are our numbers down, like, over here? Did you get that? Whatever. Like, what happened in between this transaction? They try to go to my account and they try to take out that money and it's not there anymore. Oh my. Because it's and then they would probably try to sue me for sue me or something. I don't know how they would work, but they would try to, like, twist it, probably try to sue me. They'd be like, hey, you said there was $2,700. Well, there was $2,700. Then I put it in my savings account because apparently y'all, sent me a confirmation saying, hey, Dawson, we got you. We'll give you $2,700 for free. I'm like, heck yeah. But, I just kind of been praying about it, and I kind of just, went to God this morning. I was like, hey, God, I don't even see a pending thing here. That $2,700 is still secured in my bank account. I don't know if it's a signal or anything, but maybe I've been tithing, I have been tithing. I don't know if it's a little reward. I'm just kidding, but I don't know. This is kind of crazy. I don't know what to do with it. I'll have to update y'all later on, because if they definitely do not do it in the next few days, then I don't know. Then that is the craziest experience I've ever had. Because I mean, they were supposed to take it straight out of my checkings account, and my loan went down, but the $2,700 is still there. I don't know. I do not know. Oh man. But in all saying that, it's all fun and games. But I apparently can't listen to podcasts at my work, at my job. I found that out this week. Because I enjoy listening to music sometimes, but like at work particularly, not really. I don't like listening to it when it comes to at work. I want to we have a dish pit, okay? And they call it dish pit. And when you work back there, you're just you're just cleaning dishes, washing dishes, and drying them. Well, I like listening to a podcast because I like listening to something that gives me information, informs me. I like learning something new. And I was learning, I literally had a podcast going about nutmeg, about there were these two. No, it wasn't Joe Rogan. No, it was some other podcast. They were talking about the effects that nutmeg has on your mind if you take it in high doses. Because I know back in 2014, 2012, somewhere in there was a bunch of videos that surfaced on YouTube about people smoking nutmeg. And I've talked about this on the podcast. I've talked about this on the podcast before, but it was one of my early ones. And apparently it's coming back. Apparently people are aren't smoking it, I don't think, but it became a TikTok trend where people would dump, big heavy amounts of nutmeg into like a protein shake, or they would somehow ingest a whole lot of nutmeg, and they would start tripping hard. Because they basically overdosed on nutmeg. And nutmeg, if you don't know what it is, it's a spice. Typically, they use it in fall for some spices or whatever. I've never, my mom says she's used nutmeg in some recipes, but I've never, really, used it in any of my recipes, which mine mostly consists of mac and cheese, so that's probably why. But apparently this one kid, he put went to Walmart, bought it, put the whole thing of nutmeg, the whole bottle of nutmeg into a protein shake, blended it up, and drank the whole thing. And he apparently started tripping out. They said that he had convulsions, started having seizures. He woke up and he said that he said that he wanted to drink the ocean, and he drank 4 gallons of water. But then when he proceeded to drink 4 gallons of water, he couldn't urinate. So every time he tried to go and urinate, he couldn't, but he yet drank 4 gallons of water. And I don't know. It was just something that I've never ever heard of before, or when it came to that instance. But so then he went to the hospital, and when he was in the hospital, he said that there was gnomes crawling on his stomach. The doctors didn't know what was going wrong with him. They didn't know that he ingested high amounts of nutmeg, and it was not looking good. He's alive, but he, like, from what I learned is that his brain swelled. They had to like do some procedures, and it got him down. But it's very dangerous. So I was listening to a podcast about nutmeg. That's what it was. It was about the effects, and I like that stuff. I like the stuff to do with the brain. It's not like I'm gonna want to be a neurologist or whatever, but I like learning something interesting like that, and just so bizarre. And apparently, nutmeg brought up my mind. Well, in that whole thing, the reason why I told you that whole story, not only because it was interesting, was also because my manager came back there and said, "Is that a podcast?" And I said, "Yes, it is." And he said, "You cannot have podcast on. Like, you can't listen to podcasts." And I was like, "What?" Because what didn't make sense to me was I could listen to a podcast. I mean, I could listen to, like, everybody in there could listen to whatever music they want to. All the explicit music they want to. But then you want to learn something, and you want to listen to a podcast, but you can't. So I asked him why. He told me it's because there's some people in here that may not agree with the views that you have. And I was like, agree with what? Overdosing on nutmeg? I mean, that's what I was listening to, man. That's the first thing that I was like, I'm not listening to, anything that's like controversial. I'm just trying to learn something. So I was just learning about what nutmeg does to the brain. He's like, I don't care what it is. You just can't listen to it or whatever. I'm like, this is so stupid. And then proceeded to do that. You can also listen, like, they also have music playing out front. And I went up there, and I'm not kidding. This dude was, like, the manager was legit jamming out to Kevin Gates just while he was making dough and just rolling it out. And I don't know who they all listen to, but they're all just thugs. That's all they listen to is just thug music. And just explicit. They talk about, and that's the thing too. What if I just don't because I don't agree with a lot of things that go on in rap. I don't agree that I don't take oxycodones often and mix Sprite and codeine together and make lean. I don't agree with that stuff, but they can still listen to the explicit music all they want to. But yeah, when your boy over here is trying to learn about nutmeg and how it affects your brain and how it makes you trip out because it's interesting to me, then I can't learn about it, I can't listen to it. So I had an idea. I was like, what about if I took a podcast and it was like, I think that podcast is like an hour and 30 minutes or 2 hours or whatever. And I take that podcast, I put a random beat behind it, and then I auto-tune the podcast, the speakers, and I have a beat behind it, and they just are starting to jam out now because that's all they listen to is a bunch. Auto-tune is very popular. That's like when people say hey, it's very hard, to get these kids. A lot of older people are like, man, I don't really know how to get to these kids. These kids are just not listening to me. Just auto-tune yourself. That's my advice. Just go ahead, auto-tune yourself, and you got yourself a voice now. You got yourself a complete voice of what you need to do. And because if you just auto-tune it and put a beat behind it, they will listen no matter what the words are. And it's true for the rap music nowadays, because if I read that as a poem, or if I just had a podcast and I just, put out some, just spit out some rap lyrics on a podcast, and they wouldn't allow me to listen to it anymore because I'm like, what? No, this is just Kevin Gates, man. I'm just, not saying it with auto-tune. There's no beat behind it, so it's not cool. I don't have the rapper's voice. So then, therefore, I can't do it. I'm not as great as them, but the words are the same. Oh no, that was just an idea that I had. I mean, why not try it out? I might have to try it out. Who knows? I will keep you updated on that. Now, we're gonna move in to the finale. The finale of episode 38. What's the finale going to consist of? Well, what do you think it's consisted of every single podcast that I've had? Fun fact section. Believe it or not, this fun fact I found very interesting because I didn't know there was more than one thing a microwave can do. And apparently, apparently microwaves have a mute button. So, like, you know, whenever you go press the buttons and you try to figure out what time that you want to cook your food at, it has a mute button. I didn't know that. I went over there and tried to go on mine, but I guess, you know, ours is too old school and it doesn't have a mute button. But interestingly, I did find out that our microwave has a child lock on it, and I did prank one of my roommates, and I put the child lock on the microwave, and it took him legit like 15-20 minutes for him to figure out that that he was not pressing hard enough. Like, I'm not kidding, he was just pressing it, all of a sudden he would like try to press it harder, not thinking that it I finally told him, and it was so funny. It was because of the child lock. You can't press the buttons, the microwave won't work. It would like completely shut down, and it's not. It won't be usable anymore. It's just literally the microwave. A microwave with a child lock on it is just like a box to keep your stuff in. Literally, like I could, you know, you could put shoes in there. You could put anything in there. If it has a child lock on it, it can't turn on. So it was very fun watching him go through that, and so try that out. That's what I'm trying to say is if you have a newer microwave, I don't know what a newer microwave would be qualified. They didn't give me a year on the internet, but I did, you know, if you have a microwave, go and try it. Try to find the mute button. Maybe, you know, you got some say it says press a 3, like hold the 3 down. No, hold the 0 down, or hold the cancel button down, and then it will, yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah, hold the cancel button down, and you, I think that's actually the child lock one. If you hold the clear off button, you hold it down, that would be the child lock button, and that would be fun to use, and you know, get people very irritated in your family or roommates. But also, I don't know what it, like you hold 0 down or whatnot, and boom, now you got a whole, you know, now you don't have to listen to the beeping noises, which is great if people are trying to sleep and you know, trying to make popcorn. But why would it matter? Why would you have to turn the little beeping off? Because the microwave is so loud anyways. I've just never understood that. But thank you for listening to episode 38 of the Last I Go Hard podcast. I know it's been a while. I will try and aim to be better and be more consistent. Tuesdays or Fridays. Yes, you heard it here, folks. Tuesdays or Fridays, I will be posting out a podcast every week. So if I do happen to miss a week, it will be up that next Tuesday. Sometimes things like this are going to happen, and, you know, I'm not going to find time to be able to, you know, have the perfect setting to be able just to throw out a podcast. But hopefully you learned some new things, found some valuable information. Make sure to, you know, rate my podcast. If you have been a listener and you've been a listener for a while, but you're not subscribed, then then what are you to me? You're nothing. Just do whatever you want, do whatever you please. I'm just glad you're listening anyways. But episode 38 of the Last I Go Hard podcast. Thank you everybody for listening. Make sure to like, subscribe if you're on YouTube watching this. If you're just listening to it, go on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. I don't think you can rate on Spotify, but on Apple Podcasts, you definitely can. Go and rate it. Give me whatever you want. Tell me how I'm doing. Email is going to be in the description, where you can, you know, send me videos of stuff that you find funny, because I'm going to start that up next week as well. I am tired of getting copyrighted for videos. I'm tired of dealing with all that because that's the pain that I went through the last podcast. So the videos that I find from now on are just going to be, you know, either not gonna be really videos, or I'm just gonna put up picture forms of it. I'm probably just gonna do pictures, because I'm tired of the copyright, and it's just such a pain for the YouTube rules. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it at all. But thank you, everybody, for listening to episode 38 of the Last I Go Heart podcast. I will be seeing you next Friday.
I Go Heart podcast. You are listening to the Last